John Milton's life extends from 1608 to 1674. He covers both the Jacobean and the Caroline age, of course, the period of Cromwell, and also he has witnessed the restoration and the aftermaths. He was a lonely figure, not belonging to any particular movement. He was a polyglot and a scholar. He had broadly Protestant views, but not fully confined to it. He enrolled in St. Paul's School probably in 1620, and he received a Christian humanist education. Thorough grounding in classical rhetoric is a quality of John Milton. Classical rhetoric is considered a noble skill that is necessary for the active involvement in the public affairs. This is a view advocated by Cicero and Isocrates. Later, Milton condemned the abuse of rhetoric in the speeches of Satan in Paradise Lost and Paradise Regained. So he was in the Christ College, Cambridge in 1625. And he got a pet name there, or nickname there, that is Lady of Christs, because he had a long hair and he had very delicate manners. So due to these reasons, he got this nickname, Lady of Christs. He began his poetic career with the paraphrases of Latin elegies. Earliest formal poem is Ode on the Death of a Fair Infant Dying of a Cough, which is written in 1628. It includes classical mythology and Christian ideas. And he got a suspension from the university in 1627 due to a disagreement with the curriculum and the tutor, William Chapel. During this period, he wrote his Latin elegy, Elegia Prima, addressing his friend from St. Paul's, that is Charles Diodati. And in Cambridge in 1629, he wrote Nativity Ode, that is on the morning of Christ's Nativity. 1629, he got his BA degree, and in 1632, he completed his master's. The epitaph on the admirable dramatic poet William Shakespeare is another important work by John Milton, which is now known as On Shakespeare. And this is the first published poem. And later he had his narrative poems, L'Allegro and Il Penseroso. These are considered companion poems. L'Allegro was written in 1631, which means happy man. Il Penseroso was written in 1645, which means the melancholy man. And after that, he spent 6 years in Horton. And he wrote many poems from there, because from 1635 onwards, he spent his time in Horton, and he was indulged in intensive private study. And he wrote some poems, almost 6 poems during this time, and all those generally known as Horton poems. Upon the circumcision, At a Solemn Music, On Time, Arcades and Comus, the 2 masks, based on Johnson's masks. Then Lycidas. These are the poems known as Horton poems. Lycidas is a pastoral elegy written in 1637, mourning on the death of Edward King, his friend in Christ College. And classical Christian personal elements, so many things are there in this particular thing. And after that, Milton made a foreign tour to Italy, and he spent 15 months there. He met many Italian intellectuals, and he also met Galileo. And Galileo is the only contemporary mentioned in Paradise Lost. Milton is not only a poet but also a prose writer. He wrote so many anti-prelatical episcopal tracts, divorce tracts, and so many prose pieces. But always Milton preferred poetry, because he usually say Poetry is his right hand and prose is his left hand. So he always gave the second position to prose and first position to poetry. He was not happy with his personal life, that his marital relationship, and during this particular period, a divorce was considered a sinful activity and it was illegal in Britain. And Milton wrote some divorce tracts against this illegality of divorce, and he was asking for more companionship and love in a relationship. Otherwise, if the couple are not satisfied with the particular relationship, then divorce is to be granted. Likewise, he made some revolutionary opinions through his divorce tracts, and this resulted in the Licensing Act of 1643. The censorship, pre-publishing censorship was established in Britain. And against this, Milton published Aeropagitica, in which he asks for freedom of expression, freedom of speech. Now that is the base of our freedom of press. Towards the end of his life, he was losing his eyesight, and towards the end of his life, he lost his eyesight completely. He became blind, and he wrote all his later works, including Paradise Lost, with the help of scribes. And during the final stage of his life, he got imprisoned for a few months, and later he confined himself to a very private life, and he spent his last years in Hertfordshire and later died.